I'm here with Jason Nolf, three-time NCAA champion and Penn State's all-time pin leader. Jason, what can the fans expect today?
Um, it's going to be an awesome day. We're going to be in the first round of the Craig Jones Invitational, so I'm going up against Ty Rotolo. I talked to him yesterday. He's not pulling guard, so I imagine a lot of the fight will happen on our feet, and I imagine once I get the takedowns, he's going to be scrambling, trying to get into leg entanglements and get into Darce, buggy choke, stuff like that from there. So I think that we're two of the most exciting wrestlers in the division in the world. So I think that it'll be a lot of fun.
Yesterday, we saw a lot of crazy things at the weigh-ins. What do you think about Kissgate?
I thought it was really funny, but also I can't tell if she was actually upset or if it's all part of the skit. So if she was actually upset, then that's kind of messed up. But Craig, that doesn't really surprise me. That's right up Craig's alley, and I mean it was just fun. It was funny to watch.
Biggest difference between preparing for a wrestling tournament and a jiu-jitsu tournament?
Even though this tournament's for $1 million, I feel way more laid back. When I'm preparing for wrestling, it's a little bit more high stress. Take it a little bit more seriously. I'm taking this jiu-jitsu event seriously too, but I think part of taking it seriously is relaxing a little bit more and enjoying the time that I'm here. I think part of that is because I've trained wrestling my whole life. So because I've worked so hard at it, um, I want to win even more. But there's a lot riding on the line for this jiu-jitsu event. There's $1 million to the winner. So that's really, really incentivizing to want to win just as much. But I've only been training for about 6 weeks. So I think maybe because I haven't trained as long, um, I'm not as nervous, but I'm still a little bit nervous. But we always talk about how nerves are a blessing. So I'm looking forward to going out and competing against, I mean, the best guys in the world are at the Craig Jones Invitational. So I'm looking forward to seeing who I compete against, hopefully.
What stuck out what stuck out to you about jiu-jitsu weigh-ins versus wrestling weigh-ins?
Um, well, this was way more uh, laid back. It was just show up and weigh in whenever you get there. Where in wrestling, everybody's like lined up an hour before weigh-in start. They're sitting on the mat. Everybody's trying to be first. This one, people were just kind of flowing in. It was weigh-ins from like 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. So you kind of had like a 4 hour period where you could weigh in. And I mean, I got there and there was no line. I stepped on the scale. I didn't have to, in wrestling, they usually like, okay, what's your name? What's your weight class? But like with this event, everybody kind of knows who everybody is. So it's, okay, Jason Nolf, step on the scale. I think I had my shorts on where in wrestling you got to weigh in with a singlet on, especially internationally. So it was just definitely a lot more laid back. But I think that's also part of it being the first event of its kind. They're still trying to like figure everything out. I think once the event grows, I think they could start doing like weigh-ins and face-offs like in front of a crowd, kind of like the UFC does it, and then it'll be a little bit more organized too. But I mean, it was it was smooth. Yeah.
What sticks out to you about jiu-jitsu culture?
Everybody is just like seems like they're just friends with each other. Where in wrestling, like you don't really talk to your opponents. Like you might talk to them outside of the competition area, but like I was in the weigh-in room, the media room, just like talking with a lot of the guys that are in my bracket, and we all like want to see each other do well, but we want to do even better than each other. But I think it's just like a more friendly environment, and people like to. It's not as much bad blood, I don't think, aside from a couple relationships. Most everybody is friends with each other, and just like same thing is the difference between that and wrestling. Like it's just a lot more stress free. Even though people are nervous, they're not like I feel like they're not as like anxious as wrestlers are.
What do you think about the pit or the alley?
The alley, I love it. It was really big. It was bigger than I thought. I think it's 30 by 40. I was curious to see if the diagonal walls would even come into play, but I guess, if you're going against somebody that's really backing up, then they will. I don't know how much they'll come into play in our first match versus me and Ty. I think we both are going to move forward, and I think most of the fight will happen in the center, but maybe I'll like run backwards to the pit and then just to see what's going on over there. But I think that it's obviously really good at the other tournaments. You see guys just back straight off the mat and then no penalty, just go back to the center, no penalty. In wrestling, you have a stall call or a push out. So the pit or the alley helps prevent any of that from happening. I think in the rule set it says if somebody touches the top of the alley, top of the wall, it's a negative point. So people are going to be incentivized to continue moving forward. Where in other venues, if you don't have the alley, there's no incentive to keep moving forward, and there's no penalty for backing up.
Who have you been training with in this camp?
I've been training with Isaac Michelle, a little bit of Bo Nickel. Greg has been training with us. I train with Nick Ronan and Anthony Palacino. I train with Renee Souza and Isaac Greeley. But my main training partner has been Isaac Michelle. He's competing in the ADCC. So he's been living with me for the last 6 weeks and just trying to help him with his wrestling. And he's been helping me with just my game plan and my strategy. He's one of the best in the world. I think he's the number 3 seed this weekend at the ADCC. So I'm excited to see how he does. I think he's going to do really well. And he's also going to be coaching me in the corner alongside my buddy Gino Morelli. They're going to be my corners this weekend. So,
anything else?
I just want to thank my sponsors, Level Black, for giving me the sickest kit for the CJI. I want to thank Jocko Fuel for fueling me for this event. I want to thank Spirit Water for hydrating me, and I want to thank Reverence Wrestling Club and Bebo Built. I appreciate all of you guys and all of your support. And if you guys want to check out the best wrestling and grappling instructionals, check out Athletes Ocean.